Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 63, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you and stand in body and spirit and join us in singing number 63, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers.
Recognizable tune.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, towards the light is striving. Good the eye and touch of fall, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, will make up for lost time. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing, flowers make merry on the hills, set the meadows dancing. Earth puts on her dress of green, flowers and grasses hide her, going forth in charity, one and all beside her.
I want to apologize that the second verse was not what was written in the hymnal. I don't know how that happened.
Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Grace Preuss, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee you will hear from include Tinka, who will be leading our flower communion service today, Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Wedeking, who monitors our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki by the soundboard, who is in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. On April 3rd, the California Department of Public Health ended masking and vaccination requirements in high-risk settings. However, we encourage you to exercise personal choice on this matter according to your own judgment. Welcome, old friends and new, young and old. You are an essential part of today's celebration of shared community. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, many qualities, and many strengths. We are all growing, all learning, all loved, just as we are. And we are all welcome here today. Today, we will celebrate the centennial of the flower ceremony originated by Unitarian minister Norbert Capek in 1923, symbolizing the light and color and fragrance of many creeds, many cultures, and many races joining together in a bright, living bouquet. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we would like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all of this information, and it is also available on our website. The monthly UUCR newsletter comes out the first of every month by email and per request by postal mail. If you have anything newsworthy or that you would like to contribute, please email uuchurchofriverside.calendar@gmail.com or call the church office at 951-686-6515. If you would like to be added to our mailing list, please contact the church office. Congregational meeting. The semi-annual UUCR congregational meeting will be held after the service next week on June 11th. A new board will be elected and a financial report will be given. All members are welcome to attend. First Sunday luncheon. Our June Sunday luncheon will be served next Sunday, June 11th, between the service and the congregational meeting. Sandwiches will be served. Contributions are appreciated and will be donated to the church fund. The Concerned UUs of Riverside, or CUUR, the community outreach arm of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee, will be meeting in the social justice room on the second floor after the service. You can find more information on the website under Social and Environmental Justice. Church Council will meet on the second Friday of the month in the annex. The next meeting will be at 4 p.m. on June 9th. And now I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Our speaker today is UUCR member Tinka Friend. Tinka has been a member of UUCR since 1996. She was an elementary teacher of students with special needs for almost 40 years in the Corona Norco Unified School District. She has lived her life with a profound belief in the diversity of abilities and disabilities in everyone amongst us. She was delighted to discover the UU Flower Communion over 25 years ago and believes that it is the perfect ritual to acknowledge and celebrate the uniqueness and beauty of every person, as we are all flowers in God's garden. Flower Communion, 100th anniversary. The flower ceremony, sometimes referred to as Flower Communion or Flower Festival, is an annual ritual that celebrates beauty, human uniqueness, diversity, and community. Originally created in 1923 by Unitarian minister Norbert Capek of Prague, Czechoslovakia, the flower ceremony was introduced to the United States by Reverend Maya Capek, who is Norbert's widow. For a century, this beloved tradition and its powerful history have provided meaning to hundreds of UU congregations. In this ceremony, everyone in the congregation brings a flower, and each person places a flower on the altar or in a shared vase. The congregation and minister bless the flowers, and then they're redistributed. Each person brings home a different flower than the one that they brought. We have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is the occupied Indigenous peoples' remembrance candle. The second is the lighting of our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We walk upon the traditional territories of diverse and sovereign peoples, the original people of this land who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. This spot we occupy was first a sacred space of several groups of Indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Cupeño, and the Serrano. We, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as the stewards of this sacred and holy place. We are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Our chalice lighting today is written by Tinka Friend, and it is entitled Flowers in God's Garden.
As we gather today to light this chalice amongst this bounty of flowers, which came from a variety of people who got them from a variety of places, may we be mindful of what they represent. Just as some flowers are bright, bold, colorful, and seem to say, "Look at me," so are some among us. Just as some flowers are quiet, shy, demure, and seem to avoid the spotlight, so are some among us. Just as some flowers have thorns and bristles and are not that hospitable, so are some among us. But all are beautiful in their own way. All should be accepted for what they offer. All should be received for the blessing that they are. And all are part of God's garden. All of us. We have a tradition at UUCR to welcome those who are visitors or perhaps returning after some time away. We know it can be uncomfortable to stand up and speak in front of others. So I will now ask for a volunteer from someone who has been here a while to come up and demonstrate. Tell us your name and how you found out about our church. We ask that you step close to the mic and speak directly into it and clearly so everyone can hear. But be aware that you will be visible on the Zoom camera and in the recording of this service, which is posted online. So do we have any member that would like to volunteer? Thank you, Dinah.
There's a bug. Good morning. My name is Dinah Rowe. Welcome to our visitors. We've got quite a few today. My husband and I belong to the UU Church in Long Beach, and when we moved to this area, we joined here. We've been a member since 2004. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's how it's done. So if you're new here, a visitor or an old friend, please raise your hand to stand and come up to the mic in front of the pulpit. If there's someone online who would like to introduce themselves, please raise your hand and we will call on you by Zoom. Let us know who you are, where you are from, and how you found out about us. In fact, the whole row can come down if you want.
Good morning. I'm Manuel Padua, and I'm coming from UU Church of Berkeley, and I'm visiting. We had a camping retreat in what is it, Crystal Lake in Azusa, and so we thought it was a great idea to pass by UU Riverside because we, Jace, my friend here, has been spearheading a project that helps the local unhoused here in Riverside. So as a UU member, I thought it was a great idea to pass by, and what a wonderful church you have here. And thank you for having us.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks for that, Manny. My name is Jace Wolf. And this is my first time here at the church. My friend Manny, introduced me to this church through our retreat yesterday. Where I'm from, originally I'm from Vietnam. I came here at the age of 9 and, pretty much grew up here. I think for me, the act of service means a lot to everyone and to myself. And in this journey of growth, I find that that's the most rewarding thing that I can do. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome. And anyone else? You picked a perfect day to visit. Well, for any other new guests, and no one online, Adam, that wants to introduce themselves. So after the service, please join us in what we call our parish hall for socializing and coffee hour. We would love to chat with you, and where you can also find our visitors book in case you haven't signed up. Please leave your name before you leave so that we may know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want to know about any upcoming events. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org.
Thank you, Tinka. Now we move on to joys and concerns. It is said that shared joy is a double joy, and shared sorrow is half sorrow. On the first Sunday of each month, we share the joys and concerns that we have received from you and which you have collected throughout the month. First, I'd like to read the joys and concerns that were given to us. Sure, where's that? Yes, Dinah.
I called her home and her voicemail box is full. So if anybody knows how to get hold of her, I think maybe we'll try to hold her. City manager. We'll see if I get the card and send it to our next.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Dinah. Okay, so sometimes we have joys and concerns written in our book over there. That's usually in front of the pulpit, but apparently today we don't have anything written in there. So I'll just read off the joys that we've received. UUCR members Lee and Linda Greer welcomed their first grandchild, Frederick Ali Komesana, into their family on April 13th, 2023. So congratulations. Another joy is, it was a joy to share a Memorial Day picnic last Monday with our UUCR friends. We were happy to be joined by Waylon Neo, who we hadn't seen in a while due to health issues. So she was able to join us for the picnic. Special thanks go out to all the volunteers who gave of their time and talent to coordinate this event. Thank you. Now, do we have any joys and concerns in the audience that someone would like to share with us? Tinka?
And so for me, I have a joy that, well, first there was a sorrow. It's a little tiny sorrow. There's a restaurant that many people love. It's called Romano's. It's over at Canyon Crest, and they're closing. In fact, today will be the last day that they're open, and they've been there for over 25 years, and it's a very beloved restaurant and everything. And so the joy is that one of our members who has gotten old and more frail and unable to drive anymore, and we often don't see him at church, Glenn Granfield, he lives really close and we used to go out to dinner with him at that restaurant. So this Wednesday, the May 31st, was my birthday. So I called Glenn up and I said, hey, would you like to go, to dinner to celebrate my birthday over at Romano's? They're going to be closing soon. So he said, yes. We went over and picked him up, and we had a lovely, lovely dinner, a lovely visit with him. And so that was a joy to be able to spend some time with him.
Thank you, Tinka. Is there anyone else who'd like to share?
My name is Nick Williams, Universalist Unitarian, and I recently had a fall, and it's really messed up my knees. I have to use a walker anytime I walk any kind of distance. And I'm having trouble getting in to see my knee surgeon. So it's been very difficult. I have to call a couple of times a day to look for cancellations. The joy is that I had some acupuncture on Friday, and it seems to have benefited my knees a great deal. As my mobility is well, not much easier, but it's probably 30% better than it was. So I'm able to move around a little more, and I'm grateful for that intervention. Anything else? So, okay. Well, you got to check these things at my age.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Was there anyone else who'd like to share?
This morning on the ABC News program, they chose to mention, I guess they're launching a new series, and it'll premiere on Tuesday, called The Right to Exist. It's going to be about trans and suicide. And I urge you to consider seeing it. It'll be this Tuesday. Thank you. On ABC.
Thank you, Walt. Morning, Ren.
Good morning, I'm Ren. I'd like to share a concern. As some of you may know, I've been dealing with certain health issues, and it's still up in the air, but it's looking more and more to be long COVID. And I'm concerned that it's getting worse. And I've been, especially over the past few weeks, the past 2 weeks have had more and more days when I'm almost bedridden, just not able to really get up and do anything. And it's a huge life change. As you can see, I'm young, relatively fit. I'm much more used to being active and just able to, go for a walk when I like to, get up and just do stuff. And now I can't. And it's very difficult to deal with the sudden life change, the uncertainty of the future, if things are going to get worse, if they'll get better, what that will look like. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting me share this with you.
Thank you, Ren. Bill? So Bill, you can come up and speak.
Some concern, some oddly misplaced joy. And the concern is this, for all those, it's not many people I know that are traveling all over the place. Uganda has gotten to be a very, very rough spot if you happen to be anywhere on the whole rainbow spectrum thing. They've got death or imprisonment lined up if you're accused of or convicted of homosexuality. So if you know anybody who does travel a lot and who might be affected by that, thing in Africa, because some other nations there are about as hostile. Please let them know. Second thing is I've been noticing some quarrels among the right, that we have our disagreements with how they run their shop. I think that that's a fairly safe statement. And above all, the unkindness of how they treat each other. That's starting to get to the point where it's affecting how they deal with each other. And rather than gloating over their pain, which I'm sorely tempted to do, rather, I would like to say perhaps they can learn that little lesson about how the heck we're supposed to treat each other in the world, to do so, just to first, do no harm. Second, don't be evil. Third, try to do some good. And they don't have to agree with us. My intro to this place involved the fact that I was not expected to be a clone to you guys. But what is important is that we treat each other decently, and a lot of good stuff can flow from that thing. And I wish them well, and I hope that they learn how to treat each other right.
Thank you, Bill. And we also have one more. We have one more joy and concern from our member Bonnie. One of her joys is that she made it back to Michigan for relocation, so she's back at home. And her concern is that she left us in Riverside. So we'll miss her. So I'm sure we'll see her from time to time online.
And I would like to end with a joy that I did not know I was going to have. I wasn't aware I had this until I arrived this morning. And that is, we have a longtime member that has joined us this morning, Paul Klein, who we haven't seen in years and who used to, thank you, Paul, and who was the helper extraordinaire in the kitchen all the time. So I'm so glad to see you here, Paul, this morning.
Welcome, Paul. Okay, so if that's all for today, may we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold silent in our hearts.
For paid public environment, for joy, and for just carrying it out.
Thank you, Bill. Moving on, sharing our stewardship. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may also contribute by PayPal using the QR code that is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. Amazon gift cards are also now available. You get the full value of your purchase, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Dinah Road to purchase the gift cards today, or contact our administrator, Robert Brown, in the church office. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity. And to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? We will also be coming around with a tote bag to collect non-perishable food and hygiene items for those in need. Our next hymn, number 402, From You I Receive, is from the Great Hymnal. Please feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you and stand and embody your spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, from this we live. From you I receive.
This time to quiet your mind and open your heart. There are no words projected, so you need not sing along. You may even close your eyes if you wish. But if you watch with your eyes open, notice the variety of the people who are singing, just as we have a variety of flowers here today. Be mindful that we are all in the process of becoming. None of us are finished yet. Let us accept each and every one of us, all of who we are.
Something I'm learning day after day, something that steadies my feet on the way, is the truth that my life brought me right to the place I am now. Though I don't know how, there is not a doubt. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. All that I went through, whatever the cost, I can use on the road to the person I'm trying to be. None of it came free, but all of it is me. All of who I am is beautiful and strong, as I come to know that all of me belongs, my best and my worst, the ways that I've grown, the struggles I've faced, the joy that I've known. There is a blessing I'm trying to understand. It's been there since my life began. I will find it in all of who I am. Some of my kindness comes from my pain. Sorrow and tenderness join once again in a spirit of gentle compassion that helps me accept will find it in all who I am. I will find it in all who I
Some of you may be visiting for the first time today, or maybe some of you didn't know about today's flower communion. Though some may have come without a flower, some have brought extra flowers. Everyone is welcome, and everyone can partake of this special ritual. Through some miracle, similar to the story of the loaves and the fishes, there are always flowers left over at the end of flower communion. This is the grace of our church community. Just watch. All will come forward and all will be served. The story of the flower communion begins in Prague, Czechoslovakia on the first Sunday in June, 1923, which is 100 years ago today. To honor this beginning and its century-long tradition throughout the world in Unitarian and Unitarian Universalist gatherings, all congregations and fellowships were asked by the UUA to have the flower celebration, as it was originally called, as a focal point on this day. In addition to the ceremony itself, I will also be sharing with you the history of its creation. It was created by the Unitarian minister, Norbert Capek, who brought the Unitarian faith to his home country of Czechoslovakia. Now remember, this is 1923, and the city of Prague was in turmoil as it tried to recover from the devastations of World War I. The Czechs had traditionally been staunch supporters of religious freedom, but during many years of German domination, they had been forced to practice Catholicism. But finally, free of German rule, the people of Prague were embracing their new freedom, but they were also faced with widespread hunger, and they lacked basic necessities. Capek had returned back to his homeland of Czechoslovakia from America, where he had been embraced by the AUA, which at that time was the American Unitarian Association. And he was creating a new and growing Unitarian church in town. That Unitarian church would grow to have over 2,000 members. He was known for his uplifting hymns and a welcoming community. He knew that during these difficult times, though, that people needed something more, a little more special. He wanted a religious ritual that would bind his diverse community of people together in hope and care. He knew that the traditional communion of the communion service of the local Catholic Church would not be comforting to many of his parishioners, some who felt let down in what they saw as corruption within the powerful Catholic leadership. But what kind of ritual could he create to help his community heal the wounds and unify the people? Reverend Capek looked to the beauty of nature to find a solution. For this special ritual, he asked everyone to bring a flower to church. It could be from a cultivated garden, It could be a wildflower from the fields or from the side of the road, even a branch from a tree. As people entered the church, they put their floral offerings in a single vase. The women of the congregation arranged them into a beautiful bouquet, and at a certain time during the service, the children brought the bouquet into the sanctuary. The bouquet was spectacular in its floral variety. The flowers were consecrated with prayers and hymns written by Reverend Capek, which focused on beauty in diversity, acceptance of all, and recognizing the blessings that we receive. At the end of the service, everyone was invited to take home a flower, but they had to take home a flower that was different than the one they brought. And they were to take flowers just as they came, without regard for where they came from or who brought them. He wanted the diverse flowers in his ritual to symbolize people. Many different types of flowers can make a beautiful bouquet, and many different types of people can make a beautiful community. All have value and are important. The service was successful and it touched many people deeply. It became a church tradition, which is still practiced to this day. And not just in Prague, but around the world. Reverend Capek's message lives on in this very service as we celebrate our own flower communion today. So as we enter into our exchange of flowers this morning, I would like to have the most recent attendees, which I think are you two guys right there. So are you willing to go out to the front and pick up that vase that has the vase that has the flowers in it and bring it in and add your 2 flowers to that vase? Would you do that? Thank you. Since we don't have children in attendance this morning, because I wanted to try to follow some of the aspects of the original celebration ritual that was 100 years ago. When the flowers are brought in, there will be a blessing said over the flowers, and that's what Reverend Capek did. And thank you. You can just set it right here on the altar. Yes, yes, right there. Thank you. And the English translation of Reverend Capek's blessing is given to us. The translation is by Reverend Dr. Peter Samoyski, who is the current minister of the Prague Unitarian congregation in the Czech Republic. So this is the blessing of the flowers. In the name of what is holy, in the name of what is good, in the name of that which gives life, we have gathered here in this place today. We have been given life to live under the aspect of eternity, for that is the source of happiness, to work on ourselves and to bring happiness into our lives, to be as valid as possible to others with whom we are connected by invisible relationships. You, the flowers, remind us of the wonderful simplicity of the natural order, and that we too are a part of it. You remind us of the beauty and the harmony of diversity. You remind us that one can feel and perceive and live unity in diversity, and diversity in unity. Let the spirit of creative life unite us as it reigns among us. So for this part of our ritual, I would like everyone to be forming a line over here in front of the pulpit, and we will move in a circle as you go around. Pick a flower and return to your seat in the pews. So why don't we go ahead and just start the line right here? Everyone who's going to come forward and pick up a flower. So don't start yet, just form the line. Okay, first, let's just form the line, then I will be explaining it. Okay, if we want to strictly follow the message and the intent of the ritual as Reverend Capek created it, then we will choose from the vase that was brought in that people contributed to. Those of you who brought some early, I took some out of your bouquets and put them into there. As you use, of course, you know, I know you're going to do whatever you want to do, but if you want to follow along with the ritual and the purpose of the ritual. And I also want you to remember, in keeping with Reverend Capek's message of accepting the blessings that have been given to you, and not the blessings you want or that you expect, I urge you not to pick around in the bouquet looking for the right one. In fact, I challenge you maybe to close your eyes, put your hand in the bouquet and see which one leaps into your hand. If you find that it's the one you brought, go to the next one, because the whole purpose is that we bring our gifts and blessings and exchange them. So as you are doing this, and remember you'll go around and then come back to your spot in the pew, I will repeat the lyrics to Bring a Flower by Amanda Eudice Kessler until everyone has a flower and has returned to their seat. Now you may go. Bring a flower. Take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all. Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all. Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all. Did everyone, including the people and anyone in the parish hall, did everyone here today get one? Robert, did you get one? Now, if any of you are harboring any kind of anxiety about the fact that you really wanted one of those flowers that's in there, don't worry, we're going to be moving the flowers out to the parish hall where we will have our refreshments, and feel free to take any of the flowers home that you wish. Or if you have someone that you know is a shut-in or anything like that, that you want to take some flowers to them, please do so. I'd like for you to hold your flower, close your eyes. I want you to think of what went into the making of this flower. This flower didn't just spontaneously show up full blown. It started off as a tiny little seed. It had to find soil that was conducive to it growing. The soil, of course, was created years and years upon the making in order to have the minerals and the nourishment to sustain that little seed and let it grow. Then it needed the sunlight and it needed the water. And maybe in our Southern California climate, it wouldn't have gotten all the water it needed by nature. Maybe someone helped it. Maybe someone watered it. Someone nurtured it. And then it started growing, and then it had little buds. And then it had openings, little leaves came, until finally it was in full bloom. The life of a flower doesn't just end there. Just like each of us are not necessarily in the full bloom of our life's journey. Maybe there's a flower that was in there that is kind of past its prime. Maybe some of the leaves or some of the petals had dropped off. Somebody picked this, somebody chose this, somebody brought it as a blessing to give this morning. Please open your heart and your spirit to receive that blessing. And I urge you to breathe deeply and to breathe in the healing energy that comes from all of this beautiful nature that we have on our altar this morning. Some of us may need it more than others today. Our closing hymn today is going to be number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit. It's from the Gray Hymnal, but we also will have something projected. I just want to let everyone know that this is one of the very few remaining hymns that was composed and written by Reverend Norbert Capek. And it is a wonderful example of openness of our faith as we strive to embrace our lives and find the divine that is meaningful to us. Feel free to join as the Spirit moves you, stand in body or spirit, and join us in singing the hymn, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, am I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Dreams eternal, fears infernal haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts, take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our art.
Our benediction is by Claire Feingold Thorne, and it's titled A Bouquet of People. And I have to tell you, it's wonderful from my vantage point up here because I do see a bouquet, beautiful bouquet of people. Let's give thanks for a bouquet of people. We give thanks for children. Like tulips and iris, they multiply around us, making the world ever more filled with color, beauty, and new life. May we bless them as they replant themselves ever further from us, knowing that they need their own space to grow into. We give thanks for generous friends, as constant in bloom as echinacea, and whose gifts lift up our body and spirit. We give thanks for feisty friends, as indomitable as geraniums, and for continuous friends who, like bittersweet and ivy, hold on and never let go, and can never be gotten rid of either. For crotchety friends, as prickly as rose bushes, their beauty a secret that is only discovered through careful gardening. For surprising friends, who at first glance seem dour, but then blossom into joy as quickly as forsythia. For funny friends, silly as snapdragons. For serious friends, complex as chrysanthemums. For comfortable friends, their gentle presence as soothing as the sweet smell of lilacs. for stormy weather friends who stand by us in hard times, like lily of the valley that cannot be deterred by shade or shadow. For old friends, nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on fast as flocks. For friends as unpretentious as dogwood, as persistent as pachysandra, as steady as azalea, who, like snowdrops, can be counted on to see you through the winter and remind you that spring always comes. For loving friends who wind around us like wisteria and embrace us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for forget-me-not friends, gone but never forgotten. Their beauty lives on in our memories and hearts. For this bouquet of people who brighten our lives, each in their own way, we give thanks. Amen. And what blessings we have. I'd like to thank the worship committee and all the attendees here this morning for sharing their flowers and their participation in this morning on the 100th year of Reverend Norbert Capek's flower celebration. I thank you all for joining us here this special UU ceremony. And you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall with your flower in hand. And I promise we will bring the others if you want some more. Thank you.